She walked slowly back to her brother Abbasi's house, feeling the weight of shame on her shoulders. The villagers watched her as she passed by, whispering to each other, "Poor Kambili, she couldn't give Dele a child." When Kambili reached Abbasi's house, he opened the door and saw his sister standing there, looking lost and broken. Without saying a word, Abbasi hugged Kambili tightly. He didn't need to ask what had happened. He could see the pain in her eyes. Kambili stayed with her brother, but she felt like a shadow of her former self. The laughter that once filled her life was gone. She tried to be strong, but the shame of being sent away for not having a child was too much to bear. All she could think about was how she had failed as a wife, and she wondered if she would ever find happiness again. Kambili spent many months at her brother Abbasi's house, feeling sad and alone. She thought she would never marry again, but her relatives didn't give up on her. They believed that Kambili wasn't the problem and that she could still have a child. They would visit her and say, "Kambili, you are still young and beautiful. Don't lose hope. You should try to marry again." At first, Kambili didn't want to listen. She was too afraid of being hurt again, but her relatives kept encouraging her, saying, "Maybe Dele wasn't the right one for you. You deserve another chance at happiness." One day, a man from a faraway village came to Edede. His name was Chika, and he was very handsome. He had heard about the beauty and kindness of the women in Edede and decided to come and find a wife. When he saw Kambili, he was captivated by her beauty and gentle nature. Chika approached Kambili and asked her to be his wife. Kambili was hesitant at first, but Chika was kind and patient. He promised to take care of her and make her happy. After much thought, and with the support of her relatives, Kambili agreed to marry Chika. They had a simple but joyful wedding, and Kambili moved to Chika's village, hoping for a fresh start. In Chika's village, Kambili tried her best to be a good wife, just as she had done before. She helped around the house, cooked delicious meals, and treated Chika's parents with respect. Chika's parents were pleased with her and often said, "Kambili is a wonderful wife. We are lucky to have her in our family." But as the months passed, the same worry began to creep into their home. A year had gone by, and still, there was no child. Chika started to grow anxious. He had come all the way to Edede to find a wife who could give him children, but now it seemed that Kambili could not. One evening, Chika sat down with Kambili and said, "Kambili, it's been a year, and we still don't have a child. I am very worried. I need a family, and without children, our marriage feels empty." Kambili's heart sank. She had feared this moment, and now it was happening again. She didn't know what to say. She tried to hold back her tears as she replied, "Chika, I'm trying my best, but I don't know why this is happening." Chika sighed deeply and said, "I'm sorry, Kambili, but I cannot wait any longer. I need to have children, and if you cannot give them to me, then I must find someone who can." And so, Chika made the difficult decision to send Kambili away. With a heavy heart, Kambili packed her things once again and left the home she had tried so hard to make her own. She returned to her brother Abbasi's house, feeling even more broken than before. Back in Edede, Kambili felt like a failure. She had been married twice, and both times she had been sent away because she couldn't have a child. The villagers whispered behind her back, "Poor Kambili, she's been unlucky again." Kambili didn't know what to do. She felt lost and wondered if she would ever find happiness or if she was destined to be alone forever. Kambili was now back in her brother Abbasi's house, and her heart was heavy with sorrow. She couldn't understand why she couldn't have a child. Desperation filled her days and nights. She wanted to find a solution, so she began to visit healers from different villages. Each healer she met promised her that she would have a child, but no matter what they did, nothing changed. Kambili felt more lost with each passing day. She prayed, she hoped, but deep down, she was afraid that nothing would work. Then one day, someone told her about a wise old woman who lived in a small hut deep in the forest. People said this woman had special knowledge and could see things others couldn't. Kambili decided to visit her, hoping that this wise woman might have the answers she was searching for. When Kambili arrived at the wise woman's hut, she was greeted by a small, old woman with kind eyes. The woman invited Kambili inside and listened quietly as Kambili poured out her heart. She told the wise woman about her 2 failed marriages, her deep longing for a child, and her growing fear that she would never become a mother. The wise woman nodded slowly, and after a long silence, she spoke in a gentle voice. Kambili, your struggle is not because of anything you have done. Long ago, when you were just a little girl, your parents did something to protect you. Kambili looked at the wise woman confused. What do you mean? She asked. The wise woman continued. Your parents were very worried that because of your beauty, you might fall into trouble and get pregnant before you were married. So they locked your womb with a powerful spell to keep you safe. They believed they were protecting your future. Kambili's eyes widened in shock. Locked my womb? Is that why I can't have a child? She asked, her voice trembling. The wise woman nodded. Yes, Kambili. The lock on your womb is what has kept you from becoming pregnant, but there is a way to unlock it. Kambili leaned forward, desperate to hear the solution. Tell me, please, what must I do? She begged. The wise woman hesitated for a moment before she spoke again. The lock can only be broken if you sleep with someone who shares your blood. Your parents didn't intend for this, but the spell they used was very strong. The only person who can unlock your womb is your brother, Abasi. Kambili felt her heart stop. My brother? She whispered in disbelief. The idea was shocking, unthinkable. There must be another way, she cried. The wise woman shook her head sadly. I'm afraid there isn't, Kambili. The spell is powerful, and only by sharing blood in this way can the lock be broken. Kambili sat in silence, her mind racing. She couldn't imagine doing such a thing, but the thought of never having a child was too much to bear. She felt trapped, torn between the desire to become a mother and the horror of what she would have to do to make that happen. The wise woman saw the pain in Kambili's eyes and said softly, I know this is difficult, Kambili. You must think carefully before you make any decision, but know that this is the truth. Kambili left the wise woman's hut, her heart heavy with the burden of what she had learned. She didn't know what to do. The path ahead was dark and filled with impossible choices. As she walked back to her brother's house, she knew that her life would never be the same again. Kambili returned home from the wise woman's hut, her mind in turmoil. The thought of sleeping with her brother, Abasi, to unlock her womb was something she couldn't accept. It felt wrong, but the fear of never having a child haunted her. She sought out other healers, hoping for a different solution, but nothing worked. Desperate, Kambili entered 2 more marriages, but each ended the same way. No children, and her husband sent her away. The villagers whispered that Kambili was cursed. The constant gossip weighed heavily on Kambili. She was 35, and her dream of becoming a mother seemed impossible.